Hi everybody. So we're going to talk today about marketing. I know that a lot of you, including me, feel allergic to marketing. I've certainly felt that way in my 16 years in business. I can remember lots of times when just hearing the word marketing would make me sick at my stomach. And I've heard from a lot of you that that's true as well. So, and it's confusing, right? There's so many ideas, and it seems like, your inbox, Facebook is filled with, oh, just this one more piece. This is what's going to do it for you. Just, do this, do it this way. So today I thought I would cut through that on Groundhog Day so we don't have to keep doing the same things over and over that aren't working. Let's cut through all that. I want to share something with you that I just learned a couple of weeks ago, and it really helped me feel better about myself. And, isn't that happiness? That's what Louise Hay says. Happiness is feeling good about yourself. So let's learn something together. I'm happy to share this with you. So you'll want paper and pen because you're going to do a little self-assessment here in a few minutes. Let's see. Yeah, so I think I talked to some people about this and said, I'm going to be sharing a missing piece. And this is something that I haven't heard a lot of marketing experts, the gurus, talk about. Not sure why. I mean, they're good people. They have hearts of gold. They want to help, and they have their system. The issue is that someone else's system, it worked for them. It works for them, and it doesn't always work for the people who are using it. So, what I recommend, what I teach and talk about and have, my Divine Business Mastery group, that's what we're working on, is developing our own map, our own system that fits for us. So let's talk about one really super important piece of that, which is you, and what makes you tick. So, and let me just say before I tell you about that piece, and grab paper and pen because you'll want to, or just a small piece of paper because you'll want to take a little self-assessment later on in this while I'm talking. So why is this important? Well, for me, I hear from, women, entrepreneurs, heart-centered entrepreneurs, we want to serve so much. And then when we come to the marketing piece, to talking about what we do, to actually asking for the money, what happens? Our shoulders come up under our ears. We get nervous and tense, and it's like our life energy just gets chopped off. I've heard it described as, it's like we're flowing along like water through a hose. And then when we start to talk about enrolling someone in our program or working with us one-on-one, coming and joining a group, when we ask them for the money, it's like tying a knot in the hose so that the goodies, our goodies can't flow, our energy can't flow. And that doesn't feel good to us. It certainly doesn't feel good to the potential client. In fact, it's client repellent, right? When we feel desperate, needy, anxious, not sure of ourselves, that's client repellent. And what we want is client attractant, which is when we feel relaxed, confident, happy to be connected with this person and be serving them with our best stuff, because we have awesome stuff to offer. You may have heard one thing I love or don't love it. It's just funny that kind of in the transformation industry, there's this pervasive thought, it seems to me, about you need to get out of your comfort zone. Wherever whatever you're doing, it's not enough. You need to really get out there and speak. You need to get out there and, be on a stage with hundreds of people, thousands of people, a stadium full of people. That's the way to build your business. And you know what? I'm here to say, let's don't get out of our comfort zone. Let's stay in our comfort zone, because that is really our zone of genius, right? When we feel relaxed and comfortable, that's our zone of genius. I mean, I found out that that I do best when I am face-to-face with people. So one way that I can do that from my own home is do Facebook Live, or make videos, or do Zoom calls where it's a video conference. So I need to feel like I'm connected to the person visually. So that's part of my zone of genius. It may not be for you, but there are plenty of other ways to market your business, to tell people what you do and connect with them. I just want us to all be in our zone of genius. Yeah, let's see. Back to the piece that I learned. A lot of you probably have taken personality assessments, right? Where they're always saying, are you an introvert or an extrovert? Are you, Myers-Briggs, the DISC assessment? There are many. They're all based on Carl Jung's work, and he had an introversion-extroversion scale. Okay, so you're supposed to pick one. Well, every time I would take one of those assessments, I would be right in the middle. And I'm like, but I can't decide. It's sort of that, sort of extrovert, sort of introvert. What's up with this? And then last week, you may all already know this, but hey, it was news to me. It was like a light bulb moment. There's a thing called an ambivert, A-M-B-I-V-E-R-T. And what is awesome about being an ambivert is that we're on the, introversion, extroversion, just imagine that it's on a scale. And, some people are way toward the end of extrovert, some people are way toward the end of introvert. 67% of people are ambiverts. So that means the majority of people, probably most of us. And once I knew that, I don't know about you, but once I knew that about myself, I was like, yes, that explains so much. And let me just tell you, if you feel, we're going to do a little self-assessment so you can decide if you're an ambivert or an introvert or an extrovert, where you fall on that continuum. But the awesome thing about being an ambivert is we're able to adjust according to our response, our behavior, according to the situation. Yay, we're flexible. It doesn't mean we're a chameleon. That sounds so negative, like, well, you don't know yourself. You just changed according to who you're talking to or what the situation is. Yes, we do. We have that strength. That's part of our zone of genius. So let's see, what else? What are other advantages? Let me just check my notes. Yeah, just our approach. And that lets us connect deeply with a lot of different kinds of people. So we can talk to an extrovert and we turn up our volume on our extroversion. Or you know what? We might even turn it down so that they can have the limelight. We might become, it's just whatever is needed in the situation. It lets us connect with lots of different kinds of people and establish rapport quickly. And you may have heard this feedback from other people, your friends, your clients, just people who meet you. They say, I trust you. They start telling you things that they wouldn't tell someone else. And that's highly likely that you're an ambivert. Okay, what else? Guess what? The other great news, we all think or I don't know if you did, but I have heard this so many times and I've believed it, that an extrovert is able to sell more. You know, a successful business person, of course, they're an extrovert. No, ambiverts actually sell more than extroverts. Why? Because we're able to flexibly talk and listen. We're not just constantly send, tell, convince. We stay more in a zone of pleasure than pressure. Don't you love that? Let's stay in the zone of pleasure. So we're able to, I know the word sell is, it doesn't really taste yummy to me. There's something about that I don't like to think of myself as selling. I do like to think of myself as offering, connecting and offering something that's of value. So let's think about it that way. So we're able to connect and offer things of value to people at a much higher rate than an extrovert. Let's see. Yeah, so we can be assertive. Yes, assertive. Enthusiastic. And without becoming overconfident or pushy. So is that so cool? So let's see if you're an ambivert. If you're one of the 2/3 of people who are. All right, so see how many of these statements, I'm going to read you 10 statements. See how many of these you say yes to. So I'm going to describe you, possibly to yourself. I can perform tasks alone or in a group. I don't have a big preference either way. I can perform tasks alone or I can perform tasks in a group. Maybe you enjoy both equally. It doesn't really matter to you. You can do both, which is an awesome gift. Okay, yes or no on that? Social settings don't make me uncomfortable. This is number 2. Social settings don't make me uncomfortable, but I tire of being around people too much. So if that's true for you, give yourself a yes. Social settings don't make me uncomfortable. Like if you're on extreme end of introversion on the scale, then social situations would most likely make you uncomfortable. So they don't make you uncomfortable, but after you've been there a while, you start to tire. And that's when we need, I like to think of it as to stay for a long time at a networking event or at a party. It's like we have to put on a little battery pack or change our approach to be able to stay without getting too tired. And then we have to go home and recharge our battery pack, right? We have to plug it back into something like a bubble bath or downtime or quiet. So we all have our ways of recharging. Okay, 3. Being the center of attention is fun for me, but I don't like it to last. So you don't mind being the center of attention sometimes, for some of the time. You just don't want to be the non-stop star in that situation. Okay, 4. So yes or no to that. 4. Some people think I'm quiet, but others think I'm highly social. Some people think you're quiet. Some people think you're highly social. And different ones of your friends may see you differently, which can be kind of confusing to you. 5, I don't always need to be moving, but too much downtime, too much stagnant time leaves me feeling bored. So you're not constantly on the go, but if you're sitting or still or quiet for too long, then you find yourself feeling drained by that. You can feel kind of bored. All right, that was number 5. We're halfway through with the self-awareness test. 6, I can get lost in my own thoughts just as easily as I can lose myself in a conversation. So, you know how when you're engaged with someone and they're talking about something you're interested in, you can get lost in that conversation and find yourself very verbal, just really getting into talking about it and listening and, sharing ideas. And then sometimes you find yourself thinking your own thoughts and just enjoying being with yourself, which is that's such an amazing quality in ambiverts, because we enjoy being with ourselves and we enjoy being with other people. All right, that was 6. Get lost in my own thoughts just as easily as I can lose myself in a conversation. 7, small talk doesn't make me uncomfortable, but it does get boring. So you may notice that you don't do well at cocktail parties. I have to say, I don't go to many cocktail parties, but I sometimes find myself at a party and small talk just flat wears me out. So I tend to wind up with one person or a small group, 2 or 3 people, and we are having a deeper conversation. So, so I'm definitely an ambivert. All right, number 8, when it comes to trusting other people, sometimes I'm skeptical, and other times I dive right in. So I'll say more about that in just a minute. There's a reason for that. But just notice, yes or no, sometimes when you meet someone new, are you skeptical? And sometimes you trust them and you are ready to dive right in. Number 9, I'm known to be quite intuitive and good at picking up signals that other people miss. So you may know this about yourself. Other people may have noticed it and commented on it about you. And that's the piece. So you're highly intuitive. You pick up on signals that other people miss. And I believe that's why when you meet someone for the first time, you're picking up on signals quickly that tell you, whoop, need to be cautious here. Or that tell you, I can trust this person. Go for it. And 10, here's the last one. Often I find myself just observing what's going on around me. And this is awesome because the observer quality, that quality of being able to notice what's going on around you, be highly intuitive about it, helps you in so many ways. It helps you be an awesome coach, consultant, healer, leader. Whatever you're doing for your business, being intuitive and being able to observe what's going on around you is I think that's just tops. There are a lot of other skills, but that puts you in your zone of genius when you can be there. So that's the 10. And if you answered yes to 6 or more of these, you are most likely an ambivert. So I feel like, just with this quick assessment, you have a good sense because you're intuitive, right? And you know yourself, you observe yourself, and you know what you're like in different situations. So let's celebrate if you're an ambivert. Let's celebrate if you're way on the introversion scale or if you're way on the extroversion scale. We need all types. Ambiverts are able to flexibly move within this situation. So let's talk about why that's important to you as a business owner and in your marketing. Okay, for example, you want to match let's say you're an ambivert, you want to match the situation to your approach. So, for example, at a networking event, you don't want to stand by the punch bowl all afternoon. you would want to find one person who maybe looks out of place, go and approach them. And I like to say something like, hi, name, what are you working on? What are you excited about? And then they talk about it. And then sometimes I'll say, well, how can I help you with that? What could I do? Is there a resource I can offer? Is there something I can tell you right now? Can I send you an article I've written? Could you join my Facebook group? Is there some way that I can support you and serve you? And that just takes all the angst out of networking. It's not about you trying to, about you thinking, are you my next client? Are you going to be the one who's going to help me pay my rent this month? Freaking out. Client repellent, right? So, and you also, if you're an ambivert, you want to notice that you can bring in more of your extroversion if you're at a networking event and you're going to be meeting a lot of different new people. So just know that and turn, put on the afterburners and know that you can get through this, especially if later you can go and recharge your battery. And let me give you another example of how you can use this self-awareness, this knowledge about yourself. You can plan ahead. So, for example, I heard yesterday a great idea for building your business is to go to a trade show or say a fair. Could be for business owners, could be for health, a health fair, could be a healing fair. There are lots of those. And actually, there are Facebook groups. This is a side bonus tip. There are Facebook groups that all they do is list. They post all of those types of fairs and events happening in your area, in more in major areas, but you could travel a little bit and plan ahead to go to those. So here's the thing. Do you want to, if you're an ambivert, you don't want to pay for a table and then be stuck behind that table all day long, standing on your feet. That will not be client attractant. You'll be tired, you'll be worn out, you won't have the flexibility to adapt to the situation. Yes, you're meeting lots of people, but you're stuck, right? So either get a helper to stand at the table while you move around the room, and here's another hot tip, go and talk to the other vendors. They're the people who are most likely to be interested in your services. If you're a business coach, they're business owners. Find out how they're doing. And it gives you the flexibility and the ability to respond and to respond to what you're needing in the moment as well as what they're needing. So, and that's a strength, right, of ambiverts. So go use that. And don't lock yourself in to one situation, like standing behind the table. Let's see. So, to review, you may be an ambivert, and if you are, it's awesome. It means you sell more. It means you connect more deeply with lots of different kinds of people, and it means that you have an ability to be flexible and to shine in different situations. So it's amazing. I have a suspicion that everybody in this group, more than 67%, are ambiverts. So I would love to hear what you think now that you've taken the assessment. If you'll just type in the comment, yes, I'm an ambivert, or what, I figured out I'm really more of an extrovert on those questions. I could see myself being more of an extrovert or more of an introvert. And I'm not going to talk today about all the different ways, of marketing and what would fit. But as you think about what you are doing to promote your business, to attract clients, to fill your practice, your business with awesome, ideal clients. All those choices, all those different options, the ones that you're doing, do they fit for you? Yes, someone else told you this will work. Just get out of your comfort zone and go do XYZ. This 5-step system, it's proven. Yes, maybe for some people. But does it fit for you? I want it to fit for you because when it does, you are going to be at your best. You are going to be the most successful. You're going to have ideal clients who resonate with what you have to give. And your bank account is going to be filled. And you're going to be doing the things that really bring you alive and let you live your highest purpose. That's what I want for all of us. So, happy Groundhog Day. Let's go do something different on Groundhog Day. I hope this served you, and lots of love. I'll be back on Facebook Live from California next week.